Hello, and welcome to Proof of Concept, the podcast about concept cars. I'm Alex.
I'm Will.
And today we've got a special guest. Introduce
Paran.
yourself. There we go. You'll notice that today, despite having forgotten to do so for every other episode so far, I've actually got a photo of me with my Toyota, which is suitable because, Paran, what is your guest specialist of the day?
It's Nissan today.
Oh, damn.
No,
bugger.
I'm joking, it's Toyota.
Ah, well, there we go. So, lads, Will, I know I last spoke to you on Friday, and I last spoke to you, Paran, on the weekend, but what have you guys been up to in the past week? In the land of motoring, I don't want to know if you went to the shops.
No. I went to a car meet at a truck stop mechanic.
Whose
Alright,
car meet was it?
I don't know, some TikToker I follow. He's all right.
It was me. It was my meet.
Video. Oh, was it yours?
It was,
I didn't
yeah.
realise.
It was. Now,
I thought I saw a rundown MR2, a bit like mine there.
You say this, I'm looking at the photos of MR2s and realising that there's parts off each car in the other car now in that photo, which is funny. Yeah, no, that meet was actually... That was mad. So obviously, Will, you were at my first ever meet, and you'll probably remember there's only 4 people showed up, which I'm not complaining about. It was nice to meet you. It was a good time. And Paran, you were at my second meet, which you'll remember it was 3 people. This one, I think we had 14 at peak, which... And we would do a lot more, but I'm quoting most of them here. Oh, my car had a major issue yesterday. Unfortunately, I can't make it. So that was mad. Yeah, it was a good old time. I'll tell you what, Will, you would have appreciated this.
And then,
so there was a fellow there, Sam. He came in a the bug-eyed Celica, the one with the 4 headlights. Yeah, he passed his test a month ago. That's his first ever car, and he drove 2.5 hours in it after passing a month ago to come up to see me in 2.5 hours back down at Reading. How mad is that?
That is what you call a living legend. That is, yeah, I've got mad respect for that man. That's cool.
And Paran, you'll back me up here. It was a real good example, wasn't
it? It was gorgeous.
I think it was only 65,000 miles as well.
Jelly.
That man has had an absolute.
I thought you were about to say he was only 65.
No, he had it for like 65,000 miles. That's all he has on it. It's like nothing. It's barely touched. I'm so jealous. I really wanted it. But yeah, so that was easily the highlight of my week. It was a good time as well. It was a shame that the electric power lines fell down and the restaurant we were at, the cafe, ran out of power and couldn't make any food halfway through the meet, which is.
And there was that there's that incident as well with quite a lot of angry people.
Yeah, some
Should
kids
have recorded that.
So yeah, apparently some kids are saying had thrown some stones through this van's window, and it hit this kid. So the dad was now out for blood and basically pulling up to any hitchhiker, threatening to beat them in. It was So that's what we got up to on the weekend.
Wasn't me, promise.
What have you been up to in the past week, Will?
I smoked the diff out of the Terios.
Have you blown up? How have you killed one of the most hard-built not trucks, little Jeeps? Like, they're not known for being weak. How have you killed yours so many different ways?
It's not murdered, it's just injured. It's been... Well, the thing is, right, I bought the Terios because of monies, and I've always liked the Terios from Top Gear. If I had said monies, I'd have spent it on a 4-track, which can rip the front off of a house. But my dear mother, who was in control of our yard and our farm, said, could you take your car out and roll the fields? Fine, can do that, no problem. Bumming along, quite happy. I'm like, oh, brilliant. I've got it wedged in what was hard ground. Underneath is rotten haylage, and it just sunk.
Oh no!
I put it in, isn't it? And I put it in diff lock, back and forth, and obviously when you put diff lock on, you're not really supposed to rag it. and I think you can work out what happened.
So is it still
got
running?
out. Yeah, it's perfectly fine.
I was gonna say you haven't switched over to the special secret backup car that we can't tell Paran about.
No, never. No, of course not.
Ah, that's a shame.
That's ready and waiting.
But, I still haven't seen it since we bought it.
Oh, it's fun. Oh, yeah. I've been preservation. I've been preserving it, certainly.
Oh, you're gonna love it, Paran. You really are. I'll tell you what else I've been up to this week, guys. I have now officially joined a racing club.
Oh, Christ.
I know. There's a
red
weird...
flag, black flag, he's killed himself.
So there's this weird stipulation in UK law. Okay, so all three of us, if we want to, we can go on a track and absolutely wang the shit out of it on a track, yeah? Any of our cars, perfectly legal, no requirement. Okay, you're meant to have track-based insurance, but you know that you can get that. You haven't got any license for that. If you want to do autocross, which is just dancing around with some cones in a car park at no more than 30 miles an hour, you have to be part of an auto club. You're not allowed to otherwise. It's such a bizarre, specific stipulation in the law. But I've joined one. I am now in Canakin District Car Members Club or something like that. I can't remember now. And I've already been invited out to Kerbera, and I'm not sure if I should go. Because I have no money, but I desperately want to because speed, which you know my MR2 doesn't really do, but
it does sideways monkey action very, very well. Until you get it very, very wrong and stick it in the hedge.
Look at that!
And then take photo opportunities.
It was one time, okay. Paran, you've crashed your MR2, haven't you?
The what? Sorry.
Said you've crashed your MR2.
No, I haven't actually.
That's a lie. Yes, you have.
Yes, I did. I rear-ended someone.
There we go then. See, at least I crashed backwards.
Sorry, the signal keeps going. Okay.
I had the doozy to crash backwards. Paran didn't. Give me that much at least. God.
Just from what I've gathered, I've only known Paran the past 20 minutes, and he's completely inept at crashing into things and forwards. Driving forwards. Well, goodbye.
You're speaking Welsh now, apparently.
Yep.
What?
So with introductions gone poorly, as can be expected with this podcast, are you guys ready to get into the meat and veggies of today's podcast?
I've got one more thing to say.
Yes, sorry, Paran. Well, not Paran,
yeah,
Will.
Go on.
You'll both be very happy. I was driving to my grandma's the other day, and what happened to zoom past me was a 50-something-year-old woman, grey hair, grey short hair, looked like a hairdresser, driving a yellow MR2.
Oh.
Ooh.
She looked happy as Larry, and I'm like, mad respect.
Do you know, when I was looking to buy the MR2, there was a yellow one for sale that had been garaged, but so they'd been bought as like I think a show car thing by this garage, and then bought off the garage because they'd been driven. So it only had some like 26,000 miles. I think it was a pre-facelift, but it was in yellow and it was like beyond mint condition. It was like everything was spotless on it. It had been featured in like magazines, so they had all the copies of the magazines. It even had a model of it in the back, and it was $8,000. And I looked at it and I was like, I didn't want to go for a black car next. I wanted a silly yellow one, but the only silly yellow one that was for sale was $8,000. But I wish I'd gone for it. I really, really do. And it was pre-facelift as well, which means it was pretty looking forward.
As somebody who's owned a silly yellow car, I agree, it is cool. Just make sure it's not rusty.
My silly black car is also rusty. So.
Well, that's the funny thing, because mine isn't, and it was £600.
Yes, and it came with a hard top, yes. And I'm going to at some point purposely run you off the road so I can steal the parts of it. I mean, I'm going to be there mysteriously when you fall off the road. And I'm going to help you remove parts from it by carrying them back on my car, by permanently attaching them. I'm good like that. I'm a good friend, she. Right, fellas, are we ready to get on with the podcast? By the way, if I start yelping in pain at all, I'm having mad chest pains right now, so ignore me if I sound like I'm very constipated. It really is, mate. Things are going well. Right, so Paran, Toyota, what is it?
Well, it's a Japanese brand. They're seen everywhere. They're normally to normal people, they're a bit boring, a bit dull, but to a select few legends, they've made some great cars, and as owner of two of them, as you can see here, you know, I can experience the true essence of the Toyota name, and I'm here to show you some cool concepts that.
I've got to personally ask Paran, what's it like owning a Toyota MR2?
Yeah, it's good, and especially with the hardtop, it's quite nice and insulated in the car, and it's a nice ride, and it's surprisingly comfortable and stable as well.
And as a fellow owner of an MR2, I think it's actually a lovely drive and experience to always have. And hey, Will, what do you think of your MR2?
Yep.
What colour is your MR2?
It's compact. It's red and grey. And mine has a special option where it's got roof bars. And the tyres sit from the back.
Is it it's a 4-door one as well?
Yep, and the back seats, they recline and they lift up, and you can make a bed from the seats.
I mean, you can make a bed
really
on
cool.
mine as well if you're brave enough. But
coffin.
I mean,
you could make the back seats into a bed in the YRV. That was a cool car.
Stop talking about Daihatsu. You two can nerd out over Daihatsu later. God damn. I've made the mistake of introducing these two people together. They are basically the same person, just from different ends of the country. I've made a big mistake. I've created my own downfall. This is a nightmare. So, Paran, what's the first concept you've brought us today?
This is the Toyota RV2. It's a camper style. I'm just going to have to get my notes up because
it's a transformer.
I'm well prepared.
Hey, talking about beds, look at those seats.
I know. That's velour as well, I think, if I'm correct.
Oh.
The RV2 was a sleek camper van, like the which you've never seen before. It was first revealed at the 1972 Tokyo Motor Show.
I was going to ask if this was a 70s
tiny demonstration of how far the industry had progressed in nearly 50 years.
Can I just say, what is it with
the 70s were great.
This is this weird thing with the 70s. I guess this must just be when, like, traveling around became, like, a really cool holiday. There's this weird, like, trend in the 70s of loads of concept camper vans or caravan things. Like, in the 70s, they had this thing for a Beetle where you attached a tow hook to the roof. And you had a caravan that hooked onto the roof of it. So you could spin inside your own axis, basically, with this caravan, so you could never jackknife it. Like, I don't know why the 70s had so many camper van like concepts like this. But anyway, talk us through. So what is this based on, or is this a completely from the ground up build? I
don't know, but I think it is just from the ground up. But it's got a 2.6 litre single overhead cam straight six with 130 brake horsepower, which today doesn't seem like a lot, but back then was pretty fruity.
Yeah, and for a single cam as well, actually, that's quite impressive. That's more double cam, I would have thought, territory, but then again, I'm nowhere near a car expert. Also, it's got the best thing ever, which is the hood-mounted wing mirrors.
Well, of course. But as well, this is the irony that it's a 2.9 litre straight six, 2.6 straight six. Sorry, it was introduced at the Tokyo Motor Show, where the theme of that year was emission reduction. So that's a good idea.
I mean, you could
make a big.
You can make the argument it reduces your overall emissions because you can live in it and you don't need a house
like
anymore.
A big straight six in.
There's a lot of glass though on the roof, isn't there?
I suppose
it's like a funky
That's a good point, actually.
They've made it quite low, haven't they? Actually, I've noticed that there's a really low roof line, which is odd for something you're going to use as a camper van. I know it folds out, but surely you'd make it a bit taller still.
Yeah.
The 70s was a weird time.
I don't think it'd be very comfortable if you. Oh yeah. It was strange all round. It was either brown or bright colours. It was the only colours you could get cars in there.
Yeah, do you know? And Will, you've had this argument as well, haven't you? Because I'm fairly sure you were saying to me before how annoyed you were that there's no no like bright, colourful cars anymore. No, I think it's one of you have had this comment, possibly both of you, where you're just bitching about the fact that all cars these days are just not brightly coloured, whereas in the 70s everything was like all over the place. Which one of you
Cars
was
nowadays are monochrome. The end. There is no palette of colour at all, and this RV2, this RV2 reminds me. No, puts me in mind of the Pope going on holiday. He needs that extra headspace for the big fuck off hat, and this is the whip that he would choose. Stunned silence.
Fucking hell. The Pope on holiday. All right. I love the idea that Toyota built this car specifically just for the Pope, because he's like, yes, we're going on again, I've gone back to that really offensive Italian accent that isn't even very good, but yes, we got to go on a holiday. Should we go somewhere with the Christians? No, we should go into the woods in this Toyota. I don't know what accent that slipped in at the end. I'm far too tired to do this.
It
sounded offensive. Whatever it was, it sounded offensive.
Let's go on holiday to Barnsley.
It's confusing.
Hey,
let's go on holiday to Barnsley Caravan Park in our Toyota with lime green seats and lime green roof.
It's not lime green seats. It's
Would you look at that?
Brown velour.
Oh, good point. Yep, I'm colourblind apparently, but I love this. This is cool. What intrigues me though is you can't really. Well, I mean, you wouldn't anyway, because it'd end up like driving like when Richard Hammond drove the Fiat Barchetta with the Bedouin tent, and because you can't really use the mirrors when the hood's up, because it just turn into a. But the car has a beehive. There we go. That's typical 70s. It's got beehive.
But I have to wonder why there was this massive trend in this. Somebody will know. I haven't stressed this enough on this channel. None of us know a lot about what we're talking about. We mostly are just chatting shit, so bear that in mind. But there is this weird trend in the 70s where every car company was making sort of car camper conversion things, which is something I actually wish a lot of them had stuck to, because like you look at this now, you could use that as a day-to-day car and then go camping with it, if you fancied it on one day. And it's one of these things where I always find it funny when you see these, and they're usually middle class houses, where they've bought a camper van and they parked it on their drive, and they bought it for, even though it's 4 years old when they bought it for more or less what it was worth new. They put it on their drive. They use it once in 2.5 years. They then sell it off for the exact same money they spent on it, and the next person does the same. Whereas, rather than take up all that space, I don't see why you wouldn't just go for something like this, which is a perfectly usable day-to-day car, and then you go, right, I'll just pack the bit of tent with it, and we can go camping. I do wish these had kind of caught on.
Yeah, especially with all these hipsters and influencers making a living of sleeping in their vans, or sleeping in a L200 with funny carpets over the windows. It is a wonder why this didn't catch on.
Yeah, I guess maybe this sort of trend of things was maybe a bit too early then, perhaps, because again, you brought these out now. What with van life being prevalent, as you say, yeah, it could be doable. Especially when you look at this. This is quite a cool looking thing, and it doesn't look particularly big either. That looks sort of regular car size.
No.
Is it 2 seats or 4 seats?
I'd say it's about the size of a Celica. 2 seats, I think. Oh no, hang on.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't.
No, I think it's 4 seats.
So yeah, you got a relatively sensible family car that you can just go camping in. And again, it's those sorts of ideas that
You can take the dog, the wife, the mistress, and a demented relative that you want to leave there.
So what we could do now is if we bought one of these for the production in May, because Will, if you slept in the driver's seat, you wouldn't need the footroom because the steering wheel would be in your way. So you can sleep in the driver's seat. If I slept in the passenger seat, because I'm a regular size human, I'd be able to fit in there comfortably. It would be well suited for both of us. It
has been known that I've had to use a booster cushion on occasions.
It never gets not funny digging at your height. I'm a dick.
Well, what's funny is the thing is what's funny is when I bought my second micro, which was again like your Daihatsu Paran, it was £300. I bought it off of someone I knew. Their mum had just died, and she was 80 million, and she had this massively thick bolster where she must have been the size of a gnat trying to drive this little micro. And I'm sorry, but a micro is the same size as a poster. Why would you need a cushion to be able to see out of it?
You say this.
She must have defied physics. It must have been a dwarf. Like it's Warwick Davis.
You say this right. I got overtaken earlier by a Golf. I was parked up and this Golf overtook me, and I looked over and there was no driver, and I was properly confused. So I kind of sort of pulled back off, and I thought, there's a fucking woman in it who was literally her head barely came above the door. I was like, Jesus, it's a child. She's like 45 when I got to look in later. I know the MR2 is low, but come on. I noticed we've got a bit off topic here. This is the episode where we may have actually finally beaten the audio issues, but we are completely off topic.
Yes, indeed. Right, Paran, distract us with specifications and stuff we care about.
If it makes you feel any better, everything is really laggy my end. So, it's never perfect.
There we go. That sounds about right.
That's why I might be a bit quiet. So,
Don't worry, we had this problem last week.
If I butt in at random points, it's because it's just I can't hear you.
I had to cut off the entire end of the last episode just because the audio completely delaminated itself and nothing was audible at all, which was fun. Me and Will aren't getting much better at this, truth be told. But yeah, so
I'm inept at everything.
Same, and I'm the one doing the editing stuff, and I shouldn't be allowed to. My degree did not help me much with it.
It's scary that we are the trusted adults.
Yeah, that is worrying. I pay taxes. This is all I can put together. Anyway, so Paran,
I don't pay tax. Put it that way.
Yeah.
You cheeky bastard, Paran. What stats can we distract ourselves with and talk about this with? Are there any more stats we've got here to go at? Little more specs, more juicy details.
I will check my notes.
Always works well when you got notes.
The RV2's top speed was said to be 118 miles an hour.
Fucking 120 mile an hour at a tent?
A vehicle designed to be enjoyed at a standstill.
I mean...
That thing would be flapping round. Wizard sleeve.
I mean, it's got those little tent holes, so I reckon if you open them up, you've got enough airflow, it won't, it'll just act as downforce.
Oh, wow.
Open at both ends. Yeah, see? Physics.
I found out some more about the RV2.
Okay.
That you could take out the furniture, you could take out the seats, and there was a delightful table bench set.
Oh, that's cool.
So you could arrange it sort of like a table set, apparently.
So this actually is very well thought out.
Quite jazzy.
It's really well thought. I said again, this whole genre of vehicle, I think it's sadly overlooked. I think it's a brilliant piece of kit, and actually, I think it looks really good.
I've just realised that the rear lights look like a minibus or a coach.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's like
not a big fan of them, if I'm honest. That's
no,
the one part
I feel
of the design
if they'd have made it like one piece.
But like Saabs and Volvos did. But again, that's a bit later on in design. Do you know what it reminds me of from the side? Do you know the Lotus Europa? I get that kind of vibe from it.
Oh yes, the Europa.
Yeah.
Or any shooting brake from the 1980s.
I was going to say, I'd have said the Lamborghini.
Oh yeah, the Espada.
The Espada, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that vibe.
It's
with a
got
pickup
the side
front
profile of a Lamborghini Espada and the arse end of an Austin Allegro estate.
And the front end of a Toyota pickup.
And the front end of a, I don't know.
It reminds me of a Granada. It looks just generic 70s. It's a very mixed design, but it's all very congruent.
That's it. Yeah.
I gotta say though, that has got to be absolutely piping hot to be in. I mean, look how much glass is in the back. I bet that is hot.
It's the first mobile greenhouse.
Oh, I don't know. The Nissan Cube does exist.
Well, no, this came first.
That is true. That is true. You have a
It's the
point
chicken and the egg.
there. It's the chicken and the egg, but it becomes the Cube and the RV2. I do like this. I think this is a cool little thing. Again, I wish this genre of car existed. If for anything, because it means I wouldn't have to go buy a hearse to eventually do my eventual van life, and I have a massive breakdown and disappear into the woods.
Maybe that could be a challenge. We could build a camper car and go on like a mini tour or something.
Yeah, we go down to like Cornwall, and I think what I would do is I'd buy like an old Citroen Estate, because it's got that self-leveling suspension, and then
and then put a breeze block on it.
Yeah. What about you, Will? I feel like you're quite a farmer type. I think you'd go for a Defender or something.
Yeah, I think I might pick a Defender and then ramrod a majority of B&Q for fencing panels, and then pop off to Dunelm and get some made-to-measure curtains that I then splice my fingers open on.
Yeah, I could see that work. You quite like sports cars, don't you, Paran? What?
I feel like an old Lotus would be quite a good little camper.
Yeah.
You know?
But I think what you have to do that, you have to be like really clever and like a space frame, like roof boxy type thing. Because we haven't stolen enough ideas already. Yeah, we haven't stolen enough ideas already. We should just blatantly rip off Top Gear. Let's just rehash old episodes, but not as good.
Technically, me and my friends came up with the idea to do the NC500 in cheap cars before the YouTube channel with the small man and the person who knows nothing about cars and is only there for comedic effect.
You mean
we actually came up with the idea first,
van
and
gear
they
linkage one,
kind of
bike throttle.
Yeah, the one that sort of that's the one. You can't mention the actual name though,
because we might be admitting we're infringing. I
don't want to lower myself to those standards.
So I think now we've gotten sufficiently off topic.
Maybe
let's have our final sort of.
I came up with it first.
You're never gonna let that go. That you're gonna live that to the end of your life. That you had the idea of the NC500 first. And I can respect that, to be honest.
Oh.
Hey. So boys. Before we get too far onto this stream, so what are our final thoughts on this before we move on to the next car? I'm going to say it is pretty cool. I really like this. Again, this whole genre of car from the 70s, I think, was such an underused trend. I think it was quite ahead of its time. I think you brought these ideas out now, they'd actually be very popular. Because, again, you get to have the best of both worlds. You haven't got to have a big lumbering camper van, because if you've ever tried to drive a camper van, it's awful. If you've ever tried to sleep in a camper van, because it's on soft van suspension, it rolls you around and makes you want to be sick when you try to sleep. Not great. But whereas this, you get the practicality of having a car day to day, and you get to drive around in a car day to day, but you have that added space to sleep in it. And I think, design-wise, not only is it very, very well designed, I think it's a very good looking thing too. So that would be my personal stance on the RV2. Will, what is your stance on the RV2?
It's as mad as the colour of the people that smoked it and of what they smoked, and it's fantastic. It's a mobile Bedouin tent, and like with global warming and cars melting the polar ice caps and beating up baby seals, the world is getting warmer. So I think again a market that is available now was not available back then. Everyone went camper van mad, but it didn't catch on. No one had any money. It was the 70s. We don't have any money now, but and this is really quite cool. Frankly, there's no other word for it. It's ugly. It's ruinously ugly, but it's a clever prospect, and it can be applied and maybe even developed further into something. It might be something.
I'm surprised you find this ugly. You usually like big square things.
Yeah, it's just the front, the Granada that looks like it swallowed a fridge. It just
the Granada Camaro. Okay, so Paran, come on, Paran. What are your views on this car that you chose to put in this presentation that you're leading?
I think it's very cool. I wish there were cars that colour, and I like the fact that you could, go down to the south of France in it. It wouldn't break down because it's a Toyota, and you wouldn't have to pay a French man to stay in his hotel. You could sleep in that. I think it's quite nice.
The best thing we can take is that we don't have to give the French money.
And we're cancelled off the air. No longer allowed to produce. The views of Will do not reflect the reviews of the Proof of Concept podcast as a whole. Please do not at us on... Actually, they can't shout at us on Twitter because we haven't got a Twitter. Oh, it's okay. We can't be cancelled. We're okay. Right, lads. Are we ready to move on to the next one?
Macron come into our houses and knocking on going, hey, Suzy podcast? Yeah.
I love the idea that...
You are banned.
I think we have 12 returning viewers, or 13 returning viewers when I looked at the stats the other day. And I love the idea that of those 13, Macron is one of them.
They're all just world leaders.
Yeah, we had Putin until last week, but he got really offended by us.
Zelensky's watching it.
Hey, I hope he is. Zelensky's a mega chad. He's a cool guy. I like Zelensky. Anyway, lads, I'm going to move on to the next car because we're getting distracted. I pressed the wrong button.
He is the best.
That is cool as hell. Paran, what am I looking at?
Oh, hang on, it's not updated.
Oh, no.
I'll stop watching and try again. It's still... Hang on.
You can see it, can't you, Will?
There with. It's loading. Oh, damn it.
Hey, so we'd gotten a fair way through this without technical difficulties. I'm quite impressed. So,
I've got it now.
What am I looking at here?
Toyota RSC, which suspiciously looks like... Well, it was a sort of rally sort of inspired concept. It's for... I don't know, but I think it was almost like a crossover before crossovers were a thing.
So when was this made?
Because
early 2000s.
It looks a lot like the CHR. And
do you know what? Yeah, I can see it. I can see it in there.
This was made. It was the...
I was going to say, it looks a bit like the CHR, but if you'd made it in 2005, maybe a bit later than that, maybe 2001. I like the look of this a lot. I'm surprised Will hasn't said it. Will, are you still with us?
Yeah.
I am. I'm just waiting for the lag to stop because it's painful.
Oh, yay. Like I said, these normally go not too well. So the fact we made it this far without technical difficulties with a third caller in, I'm impressed. So what are the stats on the, what do you call it? Is the RBC or the RHE?
See.
RSC, there we go. Sorry, I remember now.
RSC.
There we go. There is a horrible lag.
Yeah. See, there's not a lot of info. That's all right. There's not a lot of info on this, other than the fact that apparently it was designed by the Toyota's Californian design district or something.
See, you say that, I could very much see this being
that are part
quite
of
a
Toyota
California thing.
it.
This does seem a very California type car. Much like, what was the Isuzu we had on the other week that we thought was very Californian, Will? Was it the
Axiom XS something?
That's the one, the XSR. It does look very designed for California, actually. I
was about to say, it looks like... Oh, I'm the one that I know this from, because I remember playing Gran Turismo 6. I love Gran Turismo 6, and this was a car that I really, really wanted, and I bought twice in the game. One in green and one in silver.
Well, they actually had it in the game, did they?
Yeah. That's where I knew this from. I love the RS. It's so cool.
I was going to say, I thought this looked like something they'd put into GTA 4. It looks very kind of that ilk. I love the look of this thing. And I love the fact it's got a manual
cool.
dash-mounted shifter. That is dash-mounted shifters are ridiculously cool and should be more common because they're way more ergonomic than a traditional mounted shifter. But that is properly cool. It's hard to say just it's properly cool and not much else, but I mean, just look at it. That is it looks like a Tonka toy, you know what I mean?
That's a proper, yeah. You could happily put Tonka along the side, paint it yellow, and you could see them flying off shelves at Smith's or Toys R Us if it was still alive. But I'm not so sold on the interior. I was expecting a bit more because the outside is like, wow, look at me. I'm this jacked up, basically Celica with 4-wheel drive and massive, great girders for bumpers. But I was expecting more. I like the yellow leather. That's an interesting touch.
See, I think that goes back to what we were saying.
I was expecting a bit more from in there.
I think it goes back to what we were saying with the IQ episode, where a lot of Japanese car companies, they can have really amazing exteriors that are like, wow, cool, look at this. But the interiors are very, no, this is an interior. This is where you sit. It is functional, and that is all. Again, same with our MR2s. Very, very dramatic on the outside. Well, I wouldn't say they're dramatic, but they're certainly weird, unique looking cars. And then you get in the inside, and it is literally just the same parts from the Celica. And in fact, the boot latch and the fuel cap is the same in our MR2s as in the Yaris, is in the Celica. I believe the Hilux Surf as well. I think it's also in your Starlet. I know that much. All very.
Yeah.
This is
it's
basic.
My Starlet, but my Starlet one doesn't have a lot.
Oh, see, we've gone up market then. But again, it does harken back to that very Japanese thing of spend all the money on the outside and make it look cool on the outside and make the engine really durable, but the interior is a complete afterthought. And I think in that case, that's probably what's happened here. Although I'd say it is quite I think I like the minimalism of it. It's very utilitarian. This is, again, with things like the little stripe on the wheel.
It is meant to be a rally-inspired car, so I suppose.
It feels very rally-inspired. It feels like it's a motorsport vehicle, especially with its big hood scoop.
As it is meant to be like a rally-inspired car, it probably is, Terror
reminds me of all things, it reminds me of a Cobra. Not like the AC Cobra, of the Snake, but like a really plastic toy, like a shitty plastic toy of a Cobra. And I can't explain why. I can just say that's how my brain works.
Yeah, I'm not getting any of that at all, but do you know, because I do know, but do you both know what RSC actually stands for?
Royal Shakespeare Company.
Yeah, it was designed for the streets of Stratford-upon-Avon.
Yep.
It was designed for...
Those sleeping policemen are getting bigger and bigger.
Fans of Shakespeare.
Yeah, he's possibly gay. It may also be 58 different people. We don't actually know how to spell its name.
Yeah, it's a bastardized child of the rugged sports coupe.
Oh.
So what, sorry?
The rugged sports coupe.
So we got crossover SUVs, but we didn't get the rugged sports coupes. That is very annoying. That actually upsets me. That is such a cool name.
Well,
I know you might, Alex, but I know you definitely do, Alex. But Paran, I'm not so sure. Do you remember the original Mark 1 HRV, the Honda?
Yes, that very square sort of looking one, I think.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
That was originally, the concept was called the Joy Machine. And that is the sickest yet worst name for a car ever given.
That's I haven't seen that advertised on some websites.
Imagine taking somebody on a date and they go, "Oh, what car have you got?" And you go, "I've got a Joy Machine." They're either running in the other direction, or you're going to be a very happy person that night. You are going to be a Joy Machine that night, I should say.
I can't remember what it's like to be a Joy Machine. It's been so long.
Well, I think I win this longevity thing because it's been 23 years, well, 22 years now.
Suck it, Virgin. That was such a... I'm sorry, that was uncalled for. You're a good friend to me. I shouldn't be tweaked like that. But also, suck it, Virgin. This is one of those HR...
Well, literally.
There's one of those, my feelings now. There's one of those HRVs I pass every day to work, and I still really want one. Someone offered me a 3-door one recently for dirt cheap. I can't remember why, but they offered me. They're like, "Oh, I know you're looking for a cheap car. Do you want this?" But of course, we'd already bought our cheap car for the challenge. I was like, I already bought it. Sorry, but I looked at it and went, Honda HRV.
Only if only I'd have known.
Yeah, because I know how desperately you wanted one as well.
It was on my list of what to pick when I was picking the Terios. I needed a small 4x4, nothing major, and the HRV was top 3.
So really, if you're looking for a small 4x4, it's obviously Suzuki Jimny because it's the best vehicle with 4-wheel drive in the world. Just straight facts, no cap. It's then obviously the Toyota RSC, the Royal Shakespeare Company, which is just cool as anything. And then the Terios is somewhere down number 5.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But this thing is...
Can a Jimny carry a 26-stone man, his wife, his baby, 2 dogs, a pushchair, and me and my partner?
Probably. Probably. I have faith in the Jimny. Jimnys are cool. Jimnys are great.
I never said Jimnys were bad. I love the Jimny, but they're very small.
You're slagging off my beautiful boy now. I don't like it. I don't appreciate this.
I'm gonna get Larry. Mama's getting angry now.
I bring you into my house. I bring you into my home. We're here to discuss Toyotas, and here you are slagging off the Suzuki Jimny. Why? Because you're just mean to me. You go in for the jugular. You're trying to hurt me now, Alex. Alex? You're not Alex. I'm Alex. I'm broken. I'm gone.
Are you suffering from schizophrenia, Alex? Are you talking to yourself now?
I think I might be. You two don't actually exist. I imagine this is what happens when I've been on a week of mornings and I'm not sleeping very well, and I keep waking up to stress nightmares, thinking I've overslept and I've actually got like 4 hours left before I have to wake up. I am not doing well. The thin strand that holds my sanity together is about to snap. Again, prepare for the breakdown. I will have a hearse and I will disappear into the woods. And you will hear from me in 4 years and I will have a beard down to my balls. Anyway, so the Toyota RSC... We're so far off topic on this one.
So we've gone from accidentally mispronouncing a name to your bollocks scraping the bottom of your sandwich catcher.
I am broken as a human being. I'm gone.
You see,
his bought a Ford Scorpio hearse. Oh crap! I call dibs.
Oh, I'm so sorry to anyone who actually watches these. You're witnessing me actually just break as a person now. That is what you're now witnessing. This is, oh. So back onto the topic, the RSC. I'll tell you what I really like about this actually. If you look at the back here, these twin pipes down the middle, that is very cool. I like that a lot. Again,
yeah.
I can see why they didn't make this, because this wouldn't... Because when did you say this was unveiled, Paran?
2001, I think. Because I'm on my phone now. My notes have gone.
But, that's going to be fun when we move on to the next car, and you've got to do the notes for that.
Oh, I've got the notes for that on my iPad. If it's the right car.
Multi-tech, boys.
So I'm like a crypto miner.
You like Batman. Speaking of which, I know you've seen it, Paran. Will, have you seen the latest Batman?
I will be seeing it in a couple of weeks. Okay. I really, really, really cannot wait. Mainly because it's got Robert Pattinson in it, but we'll ignore that.
Oh, he's very cool in it. But can we just talk about how cool that new Batmobile is?
It is very cool.
That's very cool.
And when you watch it in the
There's
scene...
There's an echo, apparently.
Oh, no. Oh, wait, you're just saying that because you both said the same thing.
Yeah, we said the same thing.
Don't say there's an echo. You know what the issues we had last week.
Alex.
I'm shutting up there.
Yar?
Alex. Do you remember the bit in Batman where he wears that pretty dress and
yeah, he was really good
parades
actually.
around? Yeah, it's really good. We're not going to spoil it for you, Will. We're just talking about bits in Batman that definitely happened.
The bit where he died was really sad though. But when Jesus came down and brought him back to life, like that really unexpected cameo, that was cool.
And especially as Jesus was played by none other than Alan Carr. That was impressive. Oh, hello, Batman. Oh, would you like a drink from our drinks cabinet?
I'll shut up. Elliot, you're dying again, innit?
Oh, I like the black. Very nice.
Makes you look a bit paunchy, though. Alfred, I make sure that he goes and gets himself tailored, something nice and pink. You gotta make sure that the black and the pink don't clash when he's driving his little Batmobile. Just make sure, alright? Oh, what are you like, you silly boy?
Come for the Toyota concept, stick for the impressions of Alan Carr. Oh my god. Why did I agree to let Paran come on? What? I should have seen this happening. You two alike. I should have known. No, this is a bad idea. One of us has to stay focused, and none of us have that capacity.
No, we're completely incapable of anything. It's great.
See, I need to behave because I want to come back on again.
Next time you come on, there's just a button every time you too much power and clink, and you get doused with water. I don't know how I'm going to set that up. I'm going to find a way. Maybe I'll just press a button to text your mum to spray you with a water bottle.
Well, then I'll have my Minecraft water bottle placed on like a Rue Goldberg machine that sort of you press a button and then like loads of little balls like roll down and hit each other, and then eventually it knocks the bottle over and covers me in water.
I do absolutely love the fact you have a Minecraft torch water bottle. Is this the same one my little brother's got? And he's 11 this weekend. I can't say much, mine, because I'm looking at my Fast and Furious limited edition cinema cup with a spinning wheel on top. Because I am equally as sad as you are. What about you, Will? What's your weird nerdy drink capsule of choice?
The Simpsons Lard Lad donut in the shape of, well, it is a bottle, of course, and it can hold a surprisingly large amount of liquid.
I like the way you said liquid rather than water. What kind of liquids are you putting in your Lard Lad?
Horse semen. Straight horse semen. That's what he drinks.
Do you know no.
Do you know that's
one
really expensive?
Bougie, one chooses whale. Come on, quite literally.
No, not come on, come in.
Oh, darling, speak
how
to me again. I'll bring the Alan Carr back out.
I was at work the other day. I don't know. They were watching the Grand Derby, and it turns out racehorse semen is really, really expensive.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And you have to buy it by the litre, that is a lot of horse jacking. That's a worrying.
You say that we've got a horse. His cock used to be worth £250,000. It was grand. We could have made bank, and then they decided to give him the slip.
Oh yeah, it's a couple $100,000 for horse semen.
Yeah, for horse stud. It's like
racehorse semen is mad. Again, come for the Toyotas, learn about horse semen.
I don't really want to come for Toyota. They don't like my fire. Not gonna lie. Right, we're off topic.
It's all gone to shit. It's all gone to shit.
Toyota RSC, the Randy Sex Compact.
I'm gone. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap up my thoughts on this car because this could be an hour-long episode about us talking about fucking horse semen and me giggling.
I'm sorry, but I've just the visions I've got in my head is Alan Carr dressed as the Joker.
Oh, I bet you want to know how I got these scars. Oh.
I looked at myself in the mirror and thought, bitch, and cut myself so I could fit nice into this size 8.
Oh, God.
I'm going to make this pencil disappear. Oh, la-di-da.
Oh, God, I'm crying. I'm actually crying.
I'm giving myself a headache.
Right, this is the Toyota RSC. I think this is a really cool design. I wish they would have done a lot more with this. And even if they wouldn't be able to, then again, I guess Isuzu managed to pull off the V-Cross. I think they could have toned down the design and actually released this as a usable, everyday car that at least Californians would buy, and I would want to, and there would only be 12 for sale in the country, and I'd never get a chance. But I think these are cool, and I would have liked to have seen one. Paran, what's your take on this car?
I think it's the CHR that never was. And I know that we've got the CHR, and it's a great family car.
Terrible.
But if they'd have made like
yeah, the CHR is fucking awful.
Well, the Royal Shakespeare Company here is, very similar, but like I feel like if they'd have taken inspiration from this with the GR version of the CHR, then it would be a lot cooler. But of course, with design issues and design costs, it wouldn't have worked out, and they wouldn't have had any pennies to make nice things like the GT86 and the Supra. And
the potential new MR2. Which I forgot to include in these slides, so unfortunately we can't talk about that big electric lineup. But I think we should do that. We should do another episode of these, preferably in a couple months' time, so everyone can forget what a shit show this one was, and then we can talk about Toyotas again.
About the
horse semen.
We can remind them of the horse semen. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Well, before we get off topic again, your take on the RSC.
Right, RSC. It is a 3-door RAV4 that's been put on all of the Russian steroids and has been banned from doing the Olympics.
Yeah, but if it was taking Russian steroids, it's been banned for other reasons than just the steroids.
Yeah, we won't go with that. But
I'm going to reiterate this podcast official stance that fuck you, Putin, and come on, Ukraine. Anyway, continue.
Yep. I'm not going to reiterate horse semen, but right, it's cool. Right, I think again this was a bit of a missed opportunity, but like with not the V-Cross, but the Axiom XSR that we saw, it was very much a niche market. Probably wouldn't have taken off. It would have been your beach buggy kind of California weirdo hipster scene, and that's roughly about it. But again, like with the V-Cross, sold in very small numbers, and you've only ever seen 4 around the world. But it could have been something really, really cool. I'd put money on one, easy.
Okay, right. Now, without too much mention of horse semen, let's move on to the next car, shall we? Paran, what am I looking at here?
Oh, here we go. Oh, this is the Toyota GR HV Sports.
Now,
which is
I'm in love with this.
There are things that are happening in my body right now that I cannot explain whenever I see this. It is just pure pornography. It is beautiful.
Do you know what it reminds me a lot of? Did you ever see the AW11 that they turned into a Group B rally car?
Yes.
It looks a lot like that from the front. I see a lot of that in its makeup. It's like that and the GT86 had a baby, and I like it a lot. So walk us through. What are the what's the specs on this? What's the stats? How much horse semen can it carry?
I don't know, because it's a Targa top, so
theoretically, if you put the windows up, it's like
the lid has come off.
Yes. You attach like a bucket on the top.
We did just right. Come on, back on topic. I know I was the one who put it off, but come on. We've got one. This is not the last car. We can do this, boys.
Yes, it's. I'll read off from Toyota's website. The design is reminiscent of Toyota's Gazoo Racing TS050 hybrid racing car that competes in the World Endurance Championship, or WEC. Features a Targa top, which was also used for Toyota's legendary convertible cars, the Toyota Sports 800, aka Toyota Apache, and the Supra. Powered by the THSR Toyota Hybrid System Racing, that is infused with the hybrid technology refined by the TS05 Mr2 hybrid. Basically, it's a hybrid sports car. And if you'll see in the bottom right image, it's got buttons for an automatic shifter, but also the option to change gear like a manual.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Clutch. So it's
because I know Toyota have now developed for electric cars a simulated manual transmission with 3 pedals and everything. So I wondered if that was what the technology was.
I'm guessing it is, to be fair, but I'm not sure because I didn't look at it properly. Here we go. Oh, here it is. Drivers can delight the performance of this THSR in a genuine sports car whilst experiencing a sense of freedom thanks to the Targa top. Switching to manual mode is possible with the single press of a button, and the 6-speed manual style driving with H-pattern shifting can be enjoyed. This car is an automatic, in brackets.
See, so it's 2 pedals then, but a fully...
yeah.
See, I kind of find that interesting, because you at least do have... Because that's the thing with a lot of hybrids, if I've ever driven one, is it does the whole automatic thing of just you drive along it, and you're driving, funny enough, in the CHR in particular, it'll just go, like all the way along, because it can't decide which gear it needs to be in, and obviously if you try and do that in a motorsport setting, that is a nightmare. So I can definitely see the advantage of having this kind of, you can select whatever gear you're in, down to whatever gear you want to be in type thing. Just put it into the neutral position and it goes into neutral and what have you. It is just a bit of an odd design to have it like that. But I kind of appreciate the fact that they are at least doing what they can to have a manual sort of transmission in some sort of capacity. And I also love the fact that they've put the fucking start button right there under the thing. That is very, very, very sexy. That's very James Bond.
I was going to say, I feel that if Q Branch ran out of money and went, sorry, 007, this year we couldn't afford the Aston since Brexit and all. We've got you a lovely Toyota instead.
It might actually work,
You'll love
unlike
it.
your Aston Martins. And also, I think we also need to talk as well just how gorgeous a design this is. I mean, for a start, the tops are all sexy, but the back end of that is very, very LFA, but LFA mixed with a GR86. I'm loving this center exhaust. That is straight off a Lamborghini. That I love that. The front end, that is, it's like, again, this is the sort of car that someone would buy and go, oh look, it's my Batmobile. But God, what a breathtaking. The only thing that lets that down for me is the wheels. That is a sensational design.
You see, if they put something like, I think it's, what was it? RPF ones, I think it is, the rotor wheels. If there was a set of them on it in like a gunmetal grey, I think it would look really nice, or just silver. I think it's RPF ones. RPF ones. If there was a set of them on it, I think it would just look gorgeous.
It's a real shame actually that they don't make the GT86 look like this. I know it's very, very similar to a GT86, just slightly different in a lot of ways. But I like the GT86. I think it's a good looking thing. But I think you make them and they look quite commonplace now. If they went this way with the facelift, if they made it look like this, again, absolutely sensational looking thing.
Nice.
Yeah, and not just sensational looking, but very, very, very unique. Because this to me looks like it's a hell of a lot more powerful than it actually is. Because I imagine this would be very similar sort of power to said GT86. Do you have the power numbers on there? Is that?
I don't think they're on here. Sadly, they never released them. I don't think, but the weight distribution's great because they've put the batteries in the back of the car whilst it's front engine and rear wheel drive, so it's got a good. It's like a almost 50-50 weight balance, really.
That's again. I think GR is one of like the best racing divisions and what have you. some of the stuff they've made, like the GR Yaris, that thing.
Oh yeah.
That defies all physics. It's amazing. To me, that's the rebirth of the Mitsubishi Evo, but done better because it's done by Toyota, who are brilliant,
competent.
One of my absolute favorite things about that GR Yaris is when they released it. Shirichio Toyota, I think it is the guy in charge of Toyota, who is I think 86. Brought it out and immediately did donuts in the car park with it. Like at this press release, he is 86 years old, and he's doing donuts in this hot hatch he's just built. And he's like, "Yeah, check this out. I made sure it only had manual because that's exactly what you should be having in a cool sports car." And I'm looking at him going, "Oh, my friend."
As well, his sort of vehicle that he uses to turn up to places in. If I'm correct, it's a Toyota Century, one of the new ones, but he's got GR to actually work their magic on it, which I think is just cool. The fact that
he's one of us,
you've got like
he's a chav.
Oh, sorry.
I said he's one of us. He is a full on car enthusiast. This man is a chav, but like in the good way. Oh, I need to meet this man.
Oh yeah, it's a hybrid 5-litre V8 in the Toyota Century, but of course, Gazoo Racing have taken that and probably made it extra spicy. But it looks amazing compared to the normal Century because it's like a white colour, and it looks like you know when Rolls Royces get to that age where they're not as luxurious as they used to be, and they're sort of bought by normal people and just turn into cool custom vehicles
like that.
It looks like a car that's reached that age and it's just been modified, and it looks sexy as hell. It's gorgeous.
I have to look. You have to send me a link to that at the end of the recording, so I want to look at this.
Oh, actually, I've just noticed compared to the normal Century, it looks like it's got wider arches as well. They've added like box flared arches on it as well. Oh, God.
This man is one of us. He's absolutely one of us. Will, as you've not had a chance to speak, because I know we've been very excited about this, what are your thoughts on the HV Sports concept?
The front of it reminds me of... I can't remember when it was amalgamated, but the new Lancia Stratos. Sort of those arced-in headlights.
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
And as you say, with the arse end looking a bit like an LFA. And I can see that as well. But for me, it just doesn't do much. Like, don't get me wrong. It would probably be, if it was a real physical object, it would probably be a blast to drive. It would be competent, reliable, fast, blah, blah, blah. It as well, you know, with being a hybrid, it'd be efficient as well. But it just doesn't do it for me. I mean,
really?
the Saab Sensonic style 6-speed automated manual weird thing, that's quite cool because it eliminates the need for a clutch so that, you know, you have always perfect upshift and downshift. But it's just a car to me, honestly.
I'm dead surprised by that.
See, for me, if they took this HV Sport and put it in the Lexus orange colour they did, and well, they still do, but they're really overly bright orange. I think it would be such a cool car, especially offset with those black alloys. Would just look amazing.
I'm actually surprised they never made it because there is, I mean, sports cars are kind of having their little comeback now.
Yeah.
And I think you had a hybrid sport, because obviously hybrids, they pull off quickly because, well, you've got electric motors in it. You know, I can see this selling, because a lot of people complain that obviously the GT86 doesn't have enough power. I know that the GR86 hasn't got much more power, but the torque is different. I can imagine perhaps if they sold this as well. I guess, because I guess there wouldn't be any sense in selling one or the other. I guess that's the main issue there. You'd have to sell one, not both. But if they'd gone for this... Oh, no, that's the thing, because I think you wouldn't be able to... It wouldn't make sense to sell one or the other, because I know the GT86 is the conventional sports car with the 3-pedal manual, and it's a conventional engine, not hybrid. So people would be more inclined to buy that in the sports car market. But if you sold this, a lot of people would look at it and go, "Ooh, that's quite cool. And it'd be quick because it's hybrid, so I'll buy that." But of course, you wouldn't be able to sell this on its own, and it would cannibalize its own sales because of the GT86. So I could see why they didn't make it, but it's a shame because, I mean, it's a shame they didn't use the actual design of it, because it is a phenomenal looking thing. Even if they had the back and they stuck the GT86 front on it, I think that would look phenomenal. But yeah, this is one of those ones where it's so feasible an idea, and probably actually something they should have done, because when you think about it, sports cars have been getting axed off consistently as of late. If you'd said, all right, this was a hybrid, so we can make sure it still exists as a genre of car, I think that's a missed opportunity there, to be honest. I think it's a shame, but I still think very, very good looking thing. I'm genuinely shocked Will doesn't like it. I thought this would be right up your street, Will.
Not really.
I'm
a weird one, because I either like 4x4 off-road mad things or shooting breaks. I like big sort of ministerial estates. I like sports cars, and I'd love to actually drive. Well, I'd like to drive another one. Yeah, obviously I've driven your MR2.
yeah.
Excuse me, but I could never own one. I've been brought up with practicalities in mind, and obviously it's a sports car. It's supposed to make you feel youthful and fun, and it's part of the joys of life. But
the trick is you've got to have a mental
it's
breakdown.
It's a Toyota.
You've got to have a mental breakdown after you have to sell your Alfa Romeo, and that's what's going to force you to buy a sports car and then realise that you were an idiot for never doing it in the first place.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I haven't had this existential crisis yet because I've never owned an Alfa, and I bought the MR2 out of my own fruition. But yeah.
So, final thoughts then, guys, on the HV Sports. I think this thing is absolutely sensational looking, and again, I wish we had more target tops, because I think target tops are absolutely better than convertibles. I said what I said, come at me. And I think it is actually a crying shame we don't have something that at least looks like this, because even if they made the GT86 look like this, it would be better. I really want to see what this manual automatic fake shifter thing is like. I know it's probably not going to feel anywhere near as good as a regular manual, but I imagine it'll be a lot better than just an auto, especially for a light, small, chuckable sports car. Of all the concepts we've had so far, I think this is the one I'd most want to drive, and I mean that of all the episodes. I think this one would probably be the most fun. So that'd be my take on this one. Paran, your take.
I just saw it and fell weak at the knees. It's just such a gorgeous car, and I can't really say anything else about it other than the fact that I think it would look nice in either the RV2 green or like a bright orange, something that stands out.
Something, yeah, eye-popping colour. And to the man who's wrong, Will, your take on
this. Respect, but no love. I respect what Toyota have tried to do. I think it's very clever what they've tried to do, and it has worked in some form of term. To me, it just doesn't light the fire that I was expecting. It's just a car, but nice car.
Well, I think
that's all.
I think that's a crying shame that you don't like it, but that is what we're here for. We're here to discuss what we do and don't like about these concept cars. And I think that's safe to say we'll wrap it up there, guys, if you're happy to. So,
indeed.
Any announcements from either of you?
I've just started my own horse semen selling business, and the whole point of us talking about horse semen was just a platform for mine.
Damn it! I
was
should
almost like a
I should have known that was coming. That's
And I provide the horses.
Oh, for God's sake!
Yes. And the ones that don't meet our standards, we turn into glue.
And burgers.
Yes. It's horses, semen, and glue.
So anyway,
and
next episode, we're going to be talking about. So up till this point, we've discussed cars that and companies that we do like. At least one of us likes. Obviously, Isuzu you really like, and I particularly like Toyota. So I decided to break from the mold. I'm going to pick a company that neither of us like, Will, for our next episode, and I'm going with Volkswagen.
Oh.
And
okay, then. I'm going to sleep now.
But here's the thing. I'm going to convince you that Volkswagen has the capacity to be entertaining and cool and interesting and all the things that we like. They just don't.
Does it?
Yes, that's for next week.
Does it?
In terms of other announcements, I'm also launching merch soon.
Wow!
I know! I
Steal my money!
I'm launching a series of stickers. They are currently being designed. They will be released very shortly. There's going to be a limited run of 100, and if they sell well, I might do more. But yeah, that's
I'm having 99 of them. I have Bagseed.
Well, I know at the state of your finances, you can't afford 99. You can afford 3, maybe.
Piss off! I have podcast Bagseed. That is the law.
That's great. So now
First come, first serve, bitch.
Okay then. So thank you all for watching.
I'll be coming for them. I will.
Don't say that around the horses. They might start making money off you.
They panic.
Should we start selling horse semen stickers?
That's actually that's the merchandise.
Horse semen.
That's actually what the stickers use. So the horses that we melt into glue, we actually use for the adhesive on the stickers.
Yes, that's a good idea. You see, it's all being reused.
And then the skin we turn into leather seats.
Hey,
exactly, for the HV Sports.
And then we start our own car company.
Oh, they're Alcantara.
Well, you can make horse. I don't know what Alcantara is, but you can make it out of horses. I think. I've decided.
Horse Cantara.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So anyway, guys, that's the end of what has been a mild shit show, but hopefully entertaining one. It's been quite fun to make.
Yeah, we've just been horsing about for the whole time.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Right, I'm calling it there.
Come again, guys. Come again. It'd be great.
I thought I could get it off before another semen joke came out, but I guess I was premature on that one.
It came out.
Hey, you had a very spunky attitude to this podcast.
It's led you to a very sticky situation.
I can't think of a pun to top. I'm gonna. Right, thank you very much for watching, guys. I don't know what time zone you're in, but good morning, good evening, good night, and thank you for watching. So from me, Alex, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Think of horse cum.
Oh, I'm praying to God the audio on that was good, because that is, if that has been.